Hello and welcome everybody. This is Botany and Board. I'm Wyatt.
And I'm Bailey.
And today we're going to go over our top 5 games that caught our eye and made us want to buy. The first game we have for you is Great Western Trail, 2nd edition. So in Great Western Trail, which hits home for Bailey and I, who grew up on a farm and ranch in Kansas, you'll be taking your cattle from Texas all the way to Kansas City, where we're from. Mm-hmm. So in this game, you're trying to get as many cattle and as many times as possible in a sort of round trip mechanism from Texas to Kansas City. And the way you'll go about that is a series of pool, bag, and deck building, along with the hand management and set collection. Mm-hmm. Throughout this game, as you go through, you'll be taking the cattle to the railroad system if possible, but you'll also be working with engineers to set up buildings, and you'll be working with cattle hands to make sure that your stock that you're taking to Kansas City is of the highest value. In this 2nd edition of Great Western Trail versus the first one, which came out in 2017, they added the Simmental cattle. They also made this game a solo mode. So Great Western Trail 2nd edition plays 1 through 4. It's weighted 3.71, I want to say, out of 5 on BGG, with a rating of 8.5 out of 10, I believe. So a very good game. It also is a long playing. This is one of the more complex games to ever for me to suggest. But this takes 75 to 150 minutes. I'm excited about this game. I think it'll be a really interesting game for Bailey and I to play because we're so interested in the theme, or at least I am. As you can tell from my mustache, hat, and
What gave it away?
Yeah, what gave it away? But this is an Alexander Pfister game, and they actually just came out with the Great Western Trail Argentina, which came out in 2022. In 2023, there is going to be another re-implementation of Great Western Trail. And so this is my first game that caught my eye and made me want to buy Great Western Trail, 2nd edition.
Very good, very good.
All right.
All right.
And the next game
that caught our eye is Mind Management.
Mind Management.
Yes, so Mind Management, this is a psychic espionage game.
Mm-hmm.
It is a 1 versus many. So one of you is going to be the recruiter, and you work for the now corrupt Mind Management, and you're going around Zanzibar trying to recruit 12 other psychics to go do nefarious deeds with you. So meanwhile, the mini versus the recruiter will be trying to use their different actions to move around the board and ask questions and deduce where exactly the recruiter is to stop him from recruiting any more people. So the recruiter will win if he either succeeds in recruiting 12 or just survives 16 rounds. Otherwise, the rest of the rogue agents will be the winners. So the first thing that made me want this game so bad was the cover. The cover is amazing, as you can see right here. It draws you in very much. And actually, if you tilt it a little bit, there's actually a skull on it as well. And then the second thing was the fact that it was a hidden movement and deduction game. Mm-hmm. So we really like Whitechapel, and it was one of the first
Letters
games.
to Whitechapel.
Yes, Letters to Whitechapel. It was one of the first, and one of the only hidden movement games, honestly, we have in our collection, but we don't get it out as much because of the fact that it doesn't play as well at 2. I feel like we would like to play it with like at least 3 people would probably be better. And so this one actually on BGG, it plays 1 to 5, but it says it's best at 2 to 3. So I was like, oh, that's perfect if I can just have the game for the hidden movement, but also it plays best at 2 to 3. And then the last thing that was both like a pro and a con. So it has the Swift system is what it's called.
Okay.
And so after you were to lose, let's say I'm the recruiter and you're the other people, and then let's say you guys found me. Mm-hmm. So then I would then get to open up my little Swift pack, and it would give me then a special ability that I get to use for the next one. So it continually adds more variability, and it's a secret currently. So you get 14 mini modules that you get to open up and figure out what they are. So it's kind of exciting because you're like, what are these little things I'm going to get? But then, also, I can't decide, if I'm excited about that or if I'm just like, oh, I don't want to keep learning more rules all the time. Sometimes I just like to, know the rules.
Sure.
And then be done. But regardless, I have it. It caught my eye, and I decided to buy. So what's next on our list?
All right, next on our list, I have right here, let me just pull open the curtain. Scout is I guess, a trick-taking game with a set of cards 1 through 9 that is a pretty easy game. And also, it holds a circus theme where I'm trying to recruit people to my troop and recruit and or poach it from the other players on the board. And you do that through a series of trick-taking, such as two of a kind, straights, and you try to beat the other player's hands. And when you take those troop members into your hand, you gain them as points. For me, Scout is not about. It's not the most the biggest board game I want to add to our collection in the sense of something Bailey and I want to play. Mm-hmm. I really want to have it in our collection so that we can get new people to the board game hobby in to actually play a game that's more similar to cards so that we can slowly get them to a bigger boxed game that we're used to playing. Mm-hmm. And I think this is a nice social one where you can have a lot of depth to such a simple game but still hold the traditional card pseudo mechanics. So I'm really excited about Scout.
Very cool.
All right. You want to do the next game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
What do we got?
So the next game is big.
Real big?
Real big.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Okay, let's see it. Holy cow, there it is. That is a big old game. Woo!
That was just out there. Woo.
Yeah, that was huge.
It was.
What do you want to say about that game?
So, that was Foundations of Rome.
Foundations of Rome.
Yes. And in Foundations of Rome, you were architects and you were trying to build buildings in Rome and get glory, and whoever gets the most glory is the winner. Now, in this game, it's very simple, but yet very strategic. So that is the first thing that caught my eye and made me want to buy. The second thing that caught my eye was the components. Mm-hmm. So the components are amazing. The box is huge. Yeah. As we saw.
It's a full calyx.
It's a full calyx big. But what's so great about it is it has a player set board already made in a game tray. So you're ready to just take it out, take the plastic off, and pretty much shuffle up some cards, and then you're ready to play. Mm-hmm. So it's very simple. So on your turn, it plays over 3 eras, and you have just 3 actions that you have an option to take. You can either, very similar to Lords of Vegas in a way, you can buy a lot. You have this central board where you're all going to be placing the buildings and building Rome out. So you can either buy a lot, or you can construct a building on a lot that you already have, or you take income. So it's very simple, very easy rules. Yeah. So anybody can probably play this.
Sure.
I think the complexity is 1.95.
Yeah, it's probably in the 1.9s.
1.95.
Okay.
Haha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the complexity is only 1.95, so it's easy to teach to everybody.
Sure.
And then it offers you that extremely deluxified components, but it's one that I think maybe is worth the splurge because of the fact that it's so easy to
That's
get
what
to
we're
the
hearing
table.
Everyone's saying that it's worth it.
Yeah, because it's so simple, but yet so strategic that it should be one to hopefully get back to the table multiple times. So currently you can late pledge it on BackerKit. So I missed the Kickstarter as well. So if you are like me, but I think I'm going to take the plunge and do the late pledge. And I think we're going to get both the expansion, Road to Fortune, I think is what it's called.
I think that is right.
And then the base game. And then there's also an option to sun drop your minis as well.
For an extra $50.
So ooh, don't want to sun drop. But sometimes once you go in, you never know.
So what's the total cost here?
So $230. $230.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And this game is a polyomino game, and you
always
say
have some polyomino pieces. Yes.
You always compare it to. What was the game you always compared it to?
So it has a mix, a little bit of Lords of Vegas, with the purchasing lots, that kind of setup. But then also Isle of Cats, and the buildings are polyomino in shape.
And there's the private and public objectives.
Yes.
Which I thought was very Isle of Cats-ish.
Yes. Yep.
Now, I'm sure lots of people do that, but for me, who doesn't know anything, I was like, woo, okay, Isle of Cats.
Yes, yeah. So that is Foundations of Rome.
Nice.
Very excited.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. Okay.
All right, so what is last on our list?
The last game. Woo, it's getting hot in here. Oh my God, it's going up my arm. It's a heat. Pedal to the metal. This game is really exciting. I think just as exciting as that intro.
I was like, you were excited.
This game is, everyone is saying that this game is amazing. It plays 1 to 6. Does it? Yeah, it has a solo mode. So 1 to 6 players. It's about racing. You're going around the track, and there's 4 different tracks, I recall. There might be some more, but 4 different tracks, and you're racing with the other people on the board, and you're trying to maintain the highest speed possible while not overheating your vehicle. All the while, you're trying to upgrade your engine and probably your tires. I haven't, since we don't own the game just yet, I'm not sure on all the specifics. But long story short, you get to upgrade your race car as you go around, trying to maintain top speed and not overheat. Thus, heat, pedal to the metal. This is a really good game. I think I like how thematic the game is overall, how they set up a situation with a pawn where you're actually shifting gears and like really intuitively thinking about how a car and a racer would go around a track. I think that was pretty brilliant. But the other thing that's pretty cool is if you play with a lot of people, which that is a little bit of a con and a pro. The con being that Bailey and I don't always get 5 to 6 people at the table, but that is what we've been hearing. Maybe this game plays best at 5 6, so that's the con. The pro though is it seems like if you do have that many people, this plays pretty simplistically, and a lot of people typically have a lot of fun. It's kind of like a really good version of Cubitos, from what I understand. Without, I don't believe you roll dice, but like everybody feels very involved, and I don't know if there's a catch-up mechanic like Cubitos, but the theme just seems really well done, and everybody seems to be really in it. And the other thing that's very interesting about this, besides the solo mode, which is interesting, the thing I think is really neat is you have a championship mode, so you can race instead of just doing one track when you play with your friends. You could do all 4 tracks in like a championship series, and I think that's going to be a neat aspect towards having a night with a couple of friends. So if you're like, oh yeah, we have this game, this is really cool, and they're like, that's really fun, and you're like, why don't we make this even more fun, and we'll do all 4 tracks and see who like the biggest winner is. So anyway, the complexity, it's pretty low. It's in the low 2s, right? I want to say 2-1-6 or something. It's in between 2 and 3. It's not a high complexity game. But rounding out our list, Heat, pedal to the metal.
Yeah, very good.
Yep. All right. So with that being said, that was our top 5 games that caught our eye and made us want to buy. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit a like and subscribe, but also leave us a comment and let us know, what are you anticipating purchasing in 2023? Whether it's old or new, what's a game that you've just heard so many good things about that you think, I for sure want to get it this year? Because these are the games that we want to get this year, and some of them have just come in. And we probably go about this the same way you all do, is we watch all these videos out there and we try to compile all that data, and we're saying like these 5 games we think are going to be very solid for 2 people, but 2 people who usually play 2 to 4. Yeah. So I'm excited about it. And before we go, because I know Bailey might want to do a little thing, is thank you to everyone who lent me pictures for this segment. I really appreciate it. Everybody was like super like, yeah, use my photo, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's awesome. You don't get that in every industry. So thank you for loaning us those.
Yes, thank you. So with that, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. We'll see you next time.
Adios.